If you want to understand why that pain cream sitting on your nightstand gives you an hour of comfort before the aching comes right back, do not go looking at the pharmacy shelf for your answer. Do not look to the commercials that promise fast results. Look instead at what the plants our grandmothers tended have always carried inside them. Hello, neighbors. Come in and stay a while. What I'm about to share with you today could mean the difference between gritting through your mornings and actually moving through them the way your body was made to move. Most doctors are good people working inside a system built around 15-minute appointments and prescription pads. They are not hiding anything from you. They are working from what can be bottled and filed and covered by insurance. This 3-ingredient mix cannot be prescribed. It never has been. And it has been giving people real, lasting relief from joint pain for far longer than modern medicine has had a name for what it does. The inflammation it works on, especially in bodies past 60, is something the old ones understood with great clarity and something science is only now beginning to confirm. My name is Mary Littlebear. For over 60 years, I have tended to the folks in my community here in eastern Oklahoma through plant medicine and the old ways passed to me by my grandmother and her mother before her, stretching back 7 generations in the Cherokee tradition. My grandmother used to say that the belly is where the body decides whether to hold steady or begin to struggle. She meant that the gut is the foundation from which we manage pain, regulate sleep, and hold our immune response together. Researchers are arriving at that same understanding now in laboratories and journals. The old ones simply called it tending to the root. My grandmother used this remedy. Her mother used it before her, and her mother's mother before that. 7 generations of our people have turned to these same 3 gifts from the earth when the joints grew stiff and the cold season made every morning feel like a fight. In all those generations, I have watched our elders move through their 70s and into their 80s with a steadiness that surprises most folks who meet them. Scientists have come to communities like ours with their notebooks and their questions. What they are measuring confirms what we have watched and practiced across all those years. Now, one of these 3 ingredients surprises most people, and 9 out of 10 folks who do try it make one mistake that keeps it from ever reaching the joint where the work needs to happen. The order of this remedy matters. Each ingredient builds on the one before it, the way stones in an old wall depend on everything beneath them. Please stay all the way to the end, because the piece I save for last is the one that holds everything else together. Before we go any further, I want to hear from you. Leave a comment below and tell me your age. And tell me this, where does your joint pain sit the heaviest, and how many years have you been carrying it? I read every single comment on this channel. Your answers help me understand what this community needs most, and they shape every video I bring to you. In this video, I'm going to show you why the creams in the pharmacy aisle quiet the feeling of pain while leaving the source of it completely untouched. The Cherokee understanding of what is truly driving that stiffness that greets you each morning, rooted in 7 generations of watching and learning. The quieting compound our people have prepared season after season, and the single mistake that keeps most folks from ever feeling its full benefit. A carrier my grandmother kept in her pantry that opens the path so this remedy can actually travel to the joint. And the master ingredient, the one she held in higher regard than all others for aching bones and stiff joints, the single most important thing I can share with you today. One small favor before we begin. If you found your way here and you're not yet subscribed, please take 2 seconds and do that now. Many neighbors tell me they had been watching for months without realizing they were not subscribed. This channel exists to carry the old knowledge further. Subscribing helps us reach more people who need it. Let me begin with why the creams have not worked the way you hoped. Joint pain in older bodies lives deep in the tissue surrounding the joint, in the cartilage, in the fluid that cushions the bones. A cream that works at the surface quiets the sensation the body is sending without doing anything about what is causing it. The inflammation driving that ache sits far deeper than the skin. Our people always went after the source. The first of the 3 ingredients may already be in your kitchen. Turmeric root. The compound that does the work is called curcumin. What curcumin does inside the joint tissue is slow the production of certain signaling proteins the body releases when it senses ongoing damage or threat. Scientists call these inflammatory cytokines. In plain terms, picture them as a crew that was called in years ago for a real emergency and has never quite been told to stand down. The joint stays hot and swollen and aching because that crew keeps working long past when it should have rested. Curcumin helps the body finally send the message that it is time to stand down. For those of us past 60, this is especially meaningful because older bodies tend to hold on to that low-grade joint inflammation across the whole day without much natural relief on their own. Generations of our people have prepared turmeric for exactly this. Researchers who have followed groups of older adults through studies of chronic joint pain have found consistent, meaningful improvement in reported pain and tissue markers with regular curcumin use. The scientists are arriving at what my grandmother already knew by heart, pressing warm turmeric into cloth and laying it across an elder's knee in the deep of winter. The second ingredient is the one that surprises people most: cayenne pepper. The active compound in cayenne is called capsaicin. It works through a completely different pathway than turmeric. While turmeric calms the inflammatory response, capsaicin works directly on the pain nerve itself. It reduces something called substance P, which is the chemical the nerve uses to carry the pain signal toward the brain. With consistent use, that nerve begins to transmit the signal with considerably less urgency. Think of it as a telephone line that used to carry every sound at full volume, slowly learning to communicate at a more manageable level. For older joints especially, this matters greatly. The nerves around inflamed or worn cartilage often grow overly sensitive over time, amplifying the pain signal far beyond what the tissue damage would explain on its own. Cayenne, applied steadily, works to settle that amplification. Now, before I give you the full instructions, I want to share something that helps explain why this mix works so much better when the body underneath it is properly supported. After age 60, research suggests the beneficial bacteria in the gut can decrease by as much as 30 to 40% compared to younger years. When that happens, the body loses much of what it uses to regulate inflammation from within. Many folks hear about probiotics and reach for a supplement, and that is a reasonable start. But probiotics alone are only part of what is needed. The gut also requires prebiotic fiber to feed those bacteria, and postbiotics, which are the healing compounds the bacteria actually produce once they are well nourished. Think of tending a garden. Seeds dropped into dry, unfed soil simply will not flourish. The soil must be prepared and ready. All three have to be present and working together for the inner terrain to hold steady. 3 habits will help this 3-ingredient mix do its very best work. The first is beginning each morning with a warm cup of ginger tea about 15 minutes before applying the remedy. Ginger supports circulation to the small vessels around the joint, and better circulation means more of what you are applying can find its way through. The second is slow, unhurried movement before anything else in the morning. Our people move through their days without making a ceremony of it. Just guide the affected joint gently through its natural range a few times while the body is waking up. And the third is keeping the feet and legs warm through the night. When the lower body holds warmth across those long hours, the joints tend to wake with less of that locked, heavy stiffness that can take half the morning to ease on its own. Let me pause here for a moment, because the question I hear from folks in this community more than almost any other is this: Mary, what do you use for that inner foundation you keep coming back to? I want to tell you about BoochBod. It is a kombucha gummy, not a pill or capsule, and it was built around exactly the 3-part formula we just discussed: prebiotic fiber to feed the gut, the probiotic strain lactospore, and a postbiotic called postbiotics LM1004, which is the compound that supports the gut's role in managing inflammation from within. It also contains dandelion root and slippery elm, both of which our Cherokee tradition has used as gut strengtheners for many generations. Over 30,000 people are already using it. The link is in the description below, and please speak to your doctor before starting any supplement. And now we arrive at what I have been building toward since we began. The third ingredient is the one that determines whether this remedy actually reaches the joint or simply rests at the surface of the skin: coconut oil. Coconut oil is a carrier. My grandmother called it the open door. She said the other plants could not walk themselves through the skin without it. She learned that from her mother, who learned it from hers. And researchers who study how compounds travel through the skin have measured what she described precisely. The molecules in coconut oil, scientists call them medium-chain fatty acids, are structured in a way that allows them to pass through the skin's outer layer more readily than most plant oils. And when something moves through the skin, it can carry along what is mixed into it. Studies of transdermal absorption confirm that these fatty acids penetrate the skin barrier with notable ease, opening the path for what is blended with them. Here is how to prepare it. Take 2 tablespoons of coconut oil and warm it gently until it just becomes liquid. Add 1 teaspoon of turmeric powder and 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Stir slowly and steadily until the blend is even and the golden color runs all the way through. Apply the mixture to whichever joint is giving you the most difficulty and cover it with a warm cloth. Leave it in place for at least 30 minutes. If you are able, do this at night and allow it to work while you sleep. The warmth and the time together give the remedy its best chance to travel where it is needed. In the first week, many folks notice a mild warmth from the cayenne and somewhat less morning stiffness. By the end of the first month, those who stay consistent often find the afternoons carry less of that grinding, pulling ache. If you have sensitive skin or are managing a skin condition, speak with your doctor before applying cayenne pepper directly. I want to tell you about Dorothy. She is 74 years old, a retired school teacher from Chattanooga, Tennessee. She had been living with knee pain for 11 years. She had tried prescription creams in 2 different over-the-counter brands without finding lasting improvement with any of them. When she came to me, what had been overlooked was the depth of the tissue inflammation she was carrying and how long her body had held that low fire in the joint. We began with this 3-ingredient mix applied each evening, alongside the morning ginger tea and the gentle movement. By week 10, she told me her knee pain had reduced by about 60% in her own daily experience, and that she was walking to her neighbor's house in the morning without stopping halfway to rest for the first time in years. She said, "Mary, I feel like I got some of myself back." That is what these plants have always been for. After over 60 years of watching what truly helps and what does not, here are 3 things I have come to know. Number 1, consistency over intensity. A small amount applied every single evening does more for the joint than a large amount used once or twice a week. The body responds to steady daily messages, not occasional efforts. Number 2, the cayenne amount is not something to increase. 1/4 teaspoon is the right place to begin, especially for folks past 75. More cayenne does not go deeper. It creates more surface heat and nothing beyond that. Start modest and stay there. Number 3, turmeric stains. It will color the cloth you use, and it may tint the skin for a day or 2. That is not a concern. Use old cloth you do not mind losing. Mistake 1, using coconut oil while it is still solid. For the blend to carry the other ingredients properly, the oil needs to be gently melted first. Dry powder mixed into cold, solid oil creates an uneven blend, and the carrier effect is significantly reduced. Warm it slowly, stir it thoroughly, then apply. Mistake 2, applying the mix and then moving on with the evening. The remedy requires stillness and warmth for at least 30 minutes to begin its work. When the cloth falls away early and you are up and moving, the oil absorbs unevenly and the ingredients never have time to travel. Stay with it. Mistake 3, giving up before the work has had time to build. This remedy works on tissue and nerve function over weeks, not days. Many folks who step away in the first week are leaving just before consistent daily use begins to compound on itself. Give it 3 full weeks before you form any conclusion. I want to say something before we close today, neighbors. What we have talked about is more than a preparation you make in your kitchen. What you are tending when you care for this body is your independence, your mornings with your grandchildren, the walk you take on a Sunday that reminds you of who you are. It is never too late. The body at 75, at 80, still holds the capacity to find its way toward less pain when it is given what it needs. The old ones did not wait for someone to hand them permission to use what the land offered. They learned and they tended and they kept moving. Let me pull this together for you. 1. Pharmacy creams quiet the sensation of pain at the surface while leaving the source untouched. 2. Turmeric, through its curcumin compound, helps calm the inflammatory proteins that keep the joint hot and swollen. 3. Cayenne pepper, through capsaicin, reduces the nerve's urgency in carrying the pain signal, and consistent use settles that amplification over time. 4. Coconut oil is the carrier that opens the path, allowing the remedy to pass through the skin and reach the tissue where the work actually needs to happen. 5. The complete mix is 2 tablespoons of gently warmed coconut oil, 1 teaspoon of turmeric powder, and 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne, applied to the joint and covered warmly for at least 30 minutes each evening. If this was useful to you today, please subscribe to this channel and share this video with someone you love, a spouse, a sibling, an old friend who has been carrying joint pain longer than they should have to. Leave me a comment below and tell me which part of this you are going to try first. I read every single comment on this channel, and I look forward to hearing from you. If you want to take a look at BoochBod, the link is in the description below whenever you are ready. Walk gently, neighbors. I will see you in the next one.